here, and today I wanted to actually answer a question that I got from Sally from Western Australia. Sally wanted to know, what is a light worker? Are they just super positive people who believe in unicorns? Well, I wanted to say firstly, Sally, thank you so much for the question. We all know that unicorns do exist, so that's kind of really a non-debatable question right there. And secondly, we all know that Sally doesn't exist. I really just want to bring up this question because it's something that I became quite curious about and had no idea of, and I wanted to answer that question for anyone else that might be wondering or trying to figure out, what's the deal with being positive and what's the deal with being like all about love and light. Let's check it out. So, is a light worker just a super positive person? Is a light worker, that person that always tells you everything is gonna be okay, don't worry about it, it will work out, you'll be fine? Is a light worker that person? Well, I can tell you that light workers are some of the most amazingly tough people. It's just that their toughness comes from a place that we're not often shown and taught about toughness. We're taught about strength in a very, very different way. And I see light workers as having strength that comes from an absolute beautifully high energetic place of love. And with that love comes lovely emotions of acceptance, of understanding, of non-judgment, of seeing different perspectives, of being compassionate, empathic, empathetic. So light workers are people who, they don't have or have come from a perfect life. Very often light workers come from very volatile childhoods. They've had very, very diverse experiences of pain, and sometimes they come from this lifetime, and if you believe this, they also come from previous lifetimes, so from past lives as well. And it's why we often say, someone is an old soul, or that person, they've been here before. You can sometimes sense that some people have this wisdom and knowledge that comes from a different place, or that they know things that you can't often explain with a rational mind. You can't explain why or how they know that. And you can often see this in children. Some children who, they just are old souls. They have certain tastes on things. They have certain ways and, again, a certain approach, the way they act with other people or animals, or just their interests. You can tell that they've been here before. They're old souls, or they've come here with this special purpose to actually help bring in a greater understanding, more love, more acceptance, showing us a different way of seeing things. And sometimes when I say the word special, I have to catch myself, because it's often the way that I can describe things, but I know that there are a lot of people who feel that we shouldn't say that some people are special, or that some people have more like a deeper understanding of something, because it really makes them feel like superior, and that's absolutely not what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's just a way or a word that we use to express things, and I do feel that some of these souls have come here, and they have come with a purpose to help teach and show a deeper understanding through their own experiences. So, is a light worker just a positive person? Well, light workers are positive, that's true, but they are also very truthful. A light worker is someone who is able to speak for all parties and all scenarios. They're able to actually understand what your problem or your pain is about, but they're also there to help give you the truth. So sometimes a light worker can be positive, and it can be very nice and uplifting to talk to them. However, they'll also give you something to think about, because a light worker has a purpose to help you along with your journey, to guide you along with your soul's progress. It's not always about inflating an ego. It's not always about telling you that, hey, you're right, and yeah, that person was wrong, and you can do this, and you're perfect, and you keep going. They actually understand the dynamic of any problem that you're coming to them with, and so they're there to help you grow, and sometimes growth can be painful. Growth can ask you to challenge yourself, to challenge your perspectives, to gain a deeper understanding so that you're able to actually genuinely heal a situation. For example, you might come to a light worker, and whether you know that person's a light worker or not, there might be someone who you just love talking to because they actually give you some really good and helpful advice. And you might be talking about a relationship to them, and this person, will not often always just take your part. First off, they'll actually trigger you, or they'll actually encourage you to look at yourself, to actually look at the situation so that you are genuinely learning. It's about helping you, guiding you to make those decisions and choices by yourself, because we all have situations in our life that can cause us problems. However, the problem is not always on the outside. Sometimes we ourselves are actually causing or attracting these situations. And a light worker is someone who can see these blind spots. They have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the perspective of what's happening here, what's happening at a soul level, what's happening at a mental and emotional level, and they can help you to go in so that you are actually able to progress past that in your life. Another thing that a light worker does, they have very strong boundaries. They have very healthy boundaries, and it's something that they've had to learn in their life through their own experiences, through past experiences. So when you come to a light worker, they're often the people who won't jump in and fix something for you. So if you come across a light worker and you're like, wow, you just kind of like let me go out there and drown, don't take it the wrong way. Sometimes it's actually for your own benefit. So they'll actually challenge you so that you can learn the skill by yourself. It's like having someone, see you drowning, and they jump in and they swoop you, and you decide that instead of learning how to swim, I'd rather just, go jump in, because I know I can't swim, but I'm going to jump in, I'm going to drown, and I'm going to call for help, because that's, how it will work. With a light worker, they'll actually help to teach you or guide you and leave it up to you to learn how to swim so that you have a skill for life. So light workers, they aren't the people who come in and fix everything for you and create a codependency with them. They're the people who will come in, they'll do their thing, and they're actually not attached to whether you are going to follow that advice or not. It's really up to you and up to your soul. If you want to go ahead and apply that, they're not attached to being right. They're not attached to you taking their advice because they're so wise. They're there to help, and they are able to protect their energy and your energy by not creating a codependency, which can lead to some kind of like toxic relationship where you're depending on them to do your work. So Sally, great question. No, light workers, they've actually gone through a lot of tough things in their lives, which have taught them great skills. And mostly those skills help them to empathize with your situation and understand the different dynamics. They actually understand energy very well, so they can tap in and understand the dynamic of the situation you're talking about. Not just taking things at face value, being the best friend who will just stick up for you. Nope. They will challenge you. They will ask you questions so that you are able to come in and really take some accountability for your life so that you're not repeating situations for yourself. It's for your own good. And lastly, they're not fixers. They're not the people that are going to create a codependency, because it's not about their ego. They're not here to be right or to know everything. They're really here to share wisdom if that wisdom is needed. However, they're not attached to whether you follow it or not. It's really up to you, and it's up to your soul when you feel ready enough and you want to try that. And they also are very open to being challenged, because in spiritual truth, what might work and be true for one person might not be, or it might just be, applied in a different way for another person. So they're never going to sit there and tell you like, hey, you're wrong and I'm right. No. So light workers, the reason why I love light workers so much, they are the people that work from a place of light. They are the people that come from a very pure and high place, and they're not attached, again, to things that, you know, we often are attached to when we're trying to help people. So they're there to help. They often, you know, take a brunt of emotions back because they speak the truth, and sometimes they get judged for that even though they're not judging. So my heart really does go out to light workers because they have to speak the truth. And another thing that I see is that we have light workers that have very important messages, and when we come on social media, we often have to go with the flow. We often have to try and get those messages out there, because the truth is, on social media we have so many messages coming out, and not all of them are positive, not all of them are for our own good, but it's in our nature and in our behavior. When we feel that something triggers us, or when something strikes an emotion in us, we feel the need to share that. And so a lot of light workers out there, you know, it can be hard and it can be tough because they're not often, you know, loud and aggressive. However, I'd love to see more light workers come out and to share their message, and to hopefully get that message across on the platforms that we are using today. Because again, these platforms are there and we are spreading messages, we are spreading things, but they're not always for our highest good. They're not always, you know, for the truth that is going to help people. So I hope that helps about what light workers are. And I look forward to hearing your story. Have you been through a situation? Are you a light worker? Are you trying to get some messages across that I can help with? I'd love to hear from you, and I wish you love. Hope you're safe wherever you're watching this video from. Take care. Bye.